Welcome. My name is Amanda Zika, and I'm the Getting Started Center Coordinator at Rock Valley College. I'm here today to talk with you about time management. So our goals for today will be to think about why it's important to manage our time. We're going to think about some tips to help you manage your time and to discuss how to avoid procrastinating. So what is time management? Time management has to do with organizing how you divide your time, how you plan your specific activities and what you'll be spending your time on, and how to be effective, efficient, and productive with your time. Why is time management important? We all know it is, but we want to make sure that you are as productive as possible. The more you're able to manage your time, the more productive you'll be. Managing your time well will also help lower your stress levels. So when you're not worrying about getting things done on time, you'll be able to be more relaxed and less stressed. Also, by getting your tasks done in an efficient way, you'll have more free time to spend on the things that you enjoy. Remember, time is one of your most valuable resources that you're never going to get back. So by understanding how to manage your time effectively, you'll be a better student, and you'll also be able to carry over this skill into your career and personal life. So why do we struggle with time management? Take a minute to think about what you spend your time on. You might be a student and in school, but you probably have other things that you spend time on as well. Most of us have jobs. You might have family, friends, significant others. You may have other obligations like church or regular appointments. And think about all the things that you put into your week. So we're going to talk about how we can manage our time. We're going to go through each of these points. We're going to talk about our planners and calendars, tracking our time, goal setting and to-do lists, multitasking, routines, taking breaks, incentives, and as I mentioned, how to avoid procrastinating. So let's start with using our planner or calendar. I always recommend to students to have some sort of calendar that works for you, and that probably doesn't look the same for everyone. You might use your Outlook calendar. Eagle has a really nice calendar that I know a lot of students love. So you might be a digital person, or you might still prefer a paper calendar. I use a paper planner that I write in with pen. So you can see on our screen we have a few examples. When you plan out your calendar, you want to look at not only your day, your week, and your month. So what's coming up? What do I have due next week? What big projects or exams do I have? What other obligations do I have? When you look at your calendar, you want to make sure you plug in everything. So not just your school assignments, but maybe your work schedule, or if you have children, when their doctor's appointments are, anything that you can think of that will be taking up time from your day. You also want to make sure that you look at your calendar regularly. So when I arrive at work in the morning, the first thing I do is look at my Outlook calendar. One tool that we recommend to students who are struggling with time is to track your time. So write down what you do and how long you do it for. So you want to look at a few days, maybe even up to a week, because I know my Monday looks a lot different than my Saturday since it's a weekend. When you write down what you spend your time on, then you can start to identify what we call time wasters. So did you end up playing video games for 6 hours last night? Or were you watching Netflix for a long time? Those are, of course, things you could do in your free time, or later we'll talk about rewards when we finish our work. But if you find that they're taking up too much time, this could be a good time to reflect on how we're going to spend less time on those things or do them after we complete our work or tasks. Sometimes it might even be as simple as setting a timer for yourself. If you're looking at social media, give yourself a time limit of when you're going to stop. There are a lot of apps out there that you can use. I found one called Toggle that you could check out, but you could also just write this down with paper and pen, or create an Excel sheet of how you spend your time. And remember, when you're tracking your time, there are only 168 hours in a week. As I said earlier, time is something you're not going to get back. So you want to look at your time and see where you're spending it. If you like to sleep for 8 hours a night, right there's 56 hours of your week. If you work full time, that can be 40 hours or more of your week. So that time really starts to add up. You'll need to look at, again, how you're spending that time. If you have a commute, that could be an hour of your day. How long do you spend getting ready in the morning? So really analyze your time, and if you find that you're exceeding 168 hours in the week, that means you're overextended and you probably need to reevaluate some things. Another tip for time management is setting goals. Goals are important for anyone, especially when you're in school, but you really want to think about what are my goals for the day, week, and month, and also the semester. You all probably have long-term goals too, which can help keep you motivated. Goals are going to give you something to work towards. If you've ever heard of SMART goals, those are specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely goals, and you can look those up. There's a lot of great information online. Write down your goals and review them often. A lot of times when we see our goals, it will remind us of what we're working towards. So take some time to think about some goals that you've set for yourself recently. To-do lists are a very big help when managing our time. You want to write down everything that you need to do and plan ahead. Just like I said earlier, look at your day, week, and even your month. When you make your list, start to think about when are certain things due. If something's due tomorrow, that probably will have priority over something due next week. How long will an item take you? When I go through a to-do list, I like to number my items, starting with number 1 as being the first thing I need to do that day. Then as I finish an item, I cross it off. There's nothing as self-satisfying as crossing something off your to-do list when you finish it for the day. And then you can rewrite and organize your list every day. I'll talk about routines later, starting in the morning or whenever you start your work. Look at your list, rework it, revise it as you need. It's also important to remember not to multitask. A lot of us cannot multitask even though we think we can. So pick one item on your list and focus on that. Turn off those distractions. Turn off your phone, turn off your TV, let people around you know that this is going to be the time that you are going to be working on your item. Ideally, try to finish that task before you change to something else, or at least set a timer so that you know that you've allotted a certain amount of time to the task that you're working on. As I mentioned earlier, routines are really helpful too, especially if you're working from home or mostly online classes. So think about what time of day you're most productive. Some of us are morning people, some of us are night owls. So really work around what time works best for you. And also think about other commitments that you have at home or work. So if you have children and you know you're going to be helping them with their homework after school, then make sure that's not the time you set aside for homework. You might need to set aside time after your kids go to bed. You want to try to keep that routine on a daily basis, or at least through your weekdays. Try to go to bed at the same time, wake up at the same time, and start your routine in the morning. Look at that calendar, as I mentioned. Look at your to-do lists. And this will start to become a habit so that your days do end up having a nice routine to them. It's also important to take breaks. You want to give your brain and your body a break. When I work for a long time, I like to get up and stretch. Maybe you walk around the room or have a snack. Create a system that works for you. For some folks, that might be 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and then take a 5-minute break. Just like I mentioned earlier, use those timers because you don't want that 5-minute break to turn into an hour of using social media. And remember not to do it every day. You don't want to make yourself so mentally and physically exhausted that you are not as productive as you could be. It's important to find that balance in your life. And by doing that, you can decrease any last-minute cramming or all-nighters. So think about what you like to do. Is it meditate, yoga, go have a snack, step outside? We also can reward ourselves. So incentives can be a great way to keep you motivated. So whatever that incentive is for you, create a reward system for yourself that's realistic and will motivate you. Maybe you finish a paper and you get to watch your favorite show on Netflix. Maybe you finish your assignments for the week and you're going to buy yourself a latte from Starbucks or read one of your favorite books. It doesn't always have to be food, and it doesn't always have to be something you spend money on, but create a system to keep yourself motivated. And as I mentioned, we want to avoid procrastinating. I think most humans procrastinate by nature, so sometimes we have to push ourselves to not do that. So don't put things off until the last minute. Start something the same day it's assigned if you can. This can cause less stress and other avoidable issues. So jump right into it. We already mentioned those all-nighters and cram sessions. When we do those things, we tend to not give our best work, and we then might have a lower grade in a class. Another thing that can help our procrastination is if we set a due date that's a day or two earlier than the actual due date. So you might think, I really like to work under pressure. So if you create an earlier due date for yourself, you'll have it done. All of the time management tips that we discussed today are going to help you avoid that procrastination. And I know personally, I always feel really great when I've been able to get something done earlier than I expected to. So I hope this is helpful. I hope you can take some time to reflect on some steps that will help you manage your time effectively, and start those now. Start them for a great semester and a great time at Rock Valley College. But then, as I mentioned earlier, these are going to help you in your work and personal life too. If you have any questions or concerns, you can call or email me. Again, I'm in the Getting Started Center, which is located in the Student Center, and I am excited